What's up, man? I hope wherever you are, it is a warmer day than what I am experiencing. We've had our house, the HVAC turned off, and woke up this morning to a house that was 61 degrees, and I had no idea. There's something about like when it's your home, when it's your cave, it's like if it's not that ideal temperature, it's the most uncomfortable feeling in the world. So anyway, don't forget to subscribe and like and share because this one's going to be a doozy. You're going to want to come back to this. Okay, so I've put out some of these videos about former Tennessee State Representative Robin Smith pleading guilty to wire fraud charges. She was a former congressional candidate. That's the 4th district of Tennessee, I think. It's funny, I don't do any research for any of this stuff because I'm playing it all off memory. And then she's also, that was a hotly contested race, and she barely lost it. But then there's also, she was chairman of the Tennessee Republican Party. And now she's pled guilty to wire fraud using Tennessee taxpayers' dollars. Big no-no. Big no-no. And she faces 20 years in a federal penitentiary. And took the plea, hoping that the prosecution would ask for leniency in her sentencing if she cooperated with them. So she is snitching on everybody. Golly. What? I mean, even as a criminal, she can't be trusted. I mean, think about that. You couldn't trust her as a representative. Who knows how far back? I mean, when this stuff starts coming out, man, it usually starts falling like dominoes. But anyway, her former Speaker of the House, Glen Casada, and his chief of staff are also named, and they are named as like witness 2 and 3. But it says clearly in the, it's already been announced by Tennessean and everything who Casada is and who. It's Cade, Cothren, I think is the guy's name. That's his former chief of staff. I think Cade's going to be in real trouble. He actually signed the documents. So anyway, let's go through. This is who some of these people are. Davidson County. Tennessee has their district attorney represents a district, usually the same district as as the circuit court covers. So some counties are their own district because either they have so many people or they're so large, and what I'm looking for, the size of them have kind of always stayed the same. And the district in Tennessee used to be based on like a circuit court judge. That was his circuit, and he would, horseback it to I don't know, I'm trying to think. Like Davidson County would be like on horseback. He went like from one end of the county to the other, we'll say. So like your larger counties, like Shelby County, you can see why like a district court, or like you had these districts that have like 3 or 4 counties. You go like, on Monday they'd be in this county, Tuesday be in that county, Wednesday be in the next county, because it took so long to get there. But Davidson County, because of its size and everything, has its own district. I think Shelby County does. I know Knox County does. Sullivan County, I think it's Hamilton County is. I always mix up Hamilton and Hamlin, but it's Hamilton County is Chattanooga. Those are like the 5 counties that have their own district, and they have their own district attorney. So when it says like special prosecutor review activist case, it's Davidson County here. Nashville's district attorney has requested a special prosecutor take over an activist criminal case. Okay. Yes, a criminal case after discrepancies were uncovered in evidence shared by House Speaker Glen Casada's chief of staff. District Attorney General Glenn Funk's spokesman Steve Hayslip confirmed the request Thursday morning following a report by News Channel 5 asserting that Cade Cothren, Casada's top staffer, may have tampered with evidence in an effort to frame activist Justin Jones for violating bond conditions. In a statement, Casada called the allegation blatantly false. So, this is Cade back here. The guy that's like, looks like, what was that band? Seagulls or something like that? And they all have swooped up hair. I don't know. This guy, like, he gets his, obviously, I mean, he's like that, got the too tight jacket thing. He's got that Zoolander style going. Anyway, the evidence centers on February 28th assault case against Jones, who is charged with throwing a cup of coffee into an elevator. Authorities say the coffee hit Casada. He's the Speaker of the House. All this was over. This Jones guy, he's not from Tennessee. He's like from like New Jersey, something like that. He was big. He was getting his kicks off this whole Black Lives Matter. He was a perfect stool for them because like he came down to Tennessee. I think he might be going to Vanderbilt, and I think he went in as a what are those people called again? Oh, I almost had it. Al Gore did it too. Divinity School, or is that what it's called? Again, all this is playing off memory. My memory is shot. So, if you've been following me, you know recently the things that have been happening in my life. So, anyway, when he was released on bond, Jones was told he could have no contact with Casada. Cothren sent prosecutors emails between Jones and Casada that he said were evidence that Jones had violated the conditions of his bond. But the district attorney's office got emails with two separate dates, one before Jones was arrested and one afterward, Hayslip said. The discrepancy made it unclear if Jones had actually violated the court order. In his statement, Casada, from Franklin, which is Williamson County, Tennessee, which is in Williamson County, Tennessee, said the email referred to the report was not edited in any way, shape, or form. Casada said Cothren received the email from Jones' account on March 1st. He said the email was also sent to 12 members of the media in his own state email account, along with his executive assistant. Casada said Cothren received it. He forwarded it to Funk. It was later determined that the email from Mr. Jones was sent on February 25th, but not delivered to any of the state email accounts until March 1st due to a security issue, Casada said. Due to a security issue. Doesn't that just sound dumb? Once prosecutors contacted Cothren with questions, the Speaker's top aide learned that Jones' email was sent earlier, Casada said. The Speaker said Cothren told the prosecutors he wanted to reach out to Legislative Information Services staff to investigate. The Assistant District Attorney responded to Cothren, making him aware that D.A. Funk had already requested to file a motion, but offered to strike it, at what point Cothren requested he do so until LIS could provide clarity in the date discrepancy. The idea that my chief of staff would alter an email was also received by nearly a dozen members of the media is absurd, Casada said. Casada's office also shared copies of emails showing Cothren discussing the email discrepancies with national prosecutors assigned to the case. In the emails, Cothren said the date of Jones' email changed when he tried to forward it. I'm not exactly sure what is going on here, he wrote. Jeez, this is so... Don't get involved in this stuff, people. I mean, just don't mess around with emails and doing this stuff. This is... Everything is so... I mean, this... If you saw the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, and you saw how the digital photos, I mean, like one that was enhanced had a shiny object in it, and one that was the natural raw photo didn't have the shiny object in it. And that became a point of debate during the trial. It's the same thing as email. So now you're saying that there's an enhanced email. By forwarding it, it enhanced the email. He said he did not give a definitive answer on why the date changed for when the email was actually sent. He asked the prosecutor not to request to revoke Jones' bond until the matter was resolved. I don't feel comfortable asking you to move forward without having 100% confidence on my end. But that's not his role. Here's the thing on this. The law is the law. That's why like you don't, if you ever get detained or arrested or whatever by the police, say, I want my lawyer. I want to remain silent. And just that should be it. Just say it over and over anytime. I want my lawyer. I want to remain silent. And this is the same thing. You're messing around. You're not an investigator. You're not helping somebody. I mean, I don't even know how you would go about this. I mean, I would be so scared. Here's the thing. I would rather hand it over, especially if you're in this high profile of a position. I would rather hand it over to an attorney to hand it over to law enforcement. That way it's not me handing it over to law enforcement. You see what I'm saying? It's, man, I have a total fear about this because as soon as you get involved in this, it's so hard to maneuver. You ought to watch the YouTube video, Don't Talk to the Police. Let's see here. I actually believe both parties, Lambert's. Oh, this is William Lamberth. He's House Majority Leader William Lamberth also called the suggestion that Cothren tampered the emails false. Lambert said he saw for himself that the email in question arrived in Cothren's email March 1st, but he believes that Jones did send it days later, prior to the arrest. And what? Lambert says he saw that the email arrived March 1st, but I believe he sent it later. Golly. I actually believe both parties, Lambert said. It appears this is literally probably a technical glitch. Oh my gosh. I don't remember some of this stuff from when this happened because I was just busy laughing at what a dunce Casada was. You didn't have these problems when Beth Harwell was Speaker of the House. Because of the office's involvement in receiving the evidence in question, Hayslip said Funk asked the State District Attorney's Conference to take over the case against Jones and a continued investigation of the email. The special prosecutor would also decide what to do about a separate trespassing case against Jones that a judge dismissed in March. Prosecutors could drop the case altogether and bring it to a grand jury for more consideration. So, I guess this is so long, I've already forgotten. So, what's his face here? Cothren. All I know is that Cothren was being accused of evidence tampering the other day in an article I read about he being number 3 on here. So anyway, you got that going too. He's just there. And here's the problem with it, is I don't even care anymore to try to straighten out this article. I don't care anymore about finding out any more about this. I just know that it's like wherever this guy is mentioned, or whenever there's an article mentioning ethics or ethical type behaviors, and this guy is mentioned in it, it's usually something shady's going on. And here's the worst part about it is this guy's got the dream job. This is the thing I wanted when I was coming out of college. I was like, man, I'd love to work in the legislature in Tennessee. I wanted to, or in Washington D.C. I would love to have done that. Love to have been. I love the research. I love the there's a certain energy, a certain lifestyle, passion, where everybody's passionate about their work is so interesting. It's so great. And these guys, they just squander this crap. They just absolutely, it is such an honor to think that you would get to work on behalf of your fellow Tennesseans. This is total personal opinion right here. To think that you get to, it's such an honor to work for them. Like state government, it always used to be that way too. I haven't had any run-ins with state government lately, but it used to be, if we had a problem in the law offices, I could pick up this phone, dial 615, call Nashville, and Nashville would be like, hey, this is what's going on. This is how we handle it in our office. So, if I found an ambiguity, if there was a part of the law, I was so confused about, And because I could read it both ways, I could have a duality of opinion in my mind, and I couldn't get that settled, one way or the other. I call them up and say, hey, I'm reading it this or that. How do you guys handle this? Because if it leaves us off, say like it was a Freedom of Information Act, like request, a Sunshine Law request. Well, like, you can't just say, I want all the information that the government has. I want every piece of it on a piece of paper. I want to look at it all. Because, that's just, it's not possible. That's the response. You have to be specific about what you want. You have to have times, dates, stuff like that when you make an information request. And so, like, let's say, like, it was that, and it's like, hey, what do we do about this? It's like, this person's right, or no. Or they would go to the state, people would go to the state and then complain, and you have to answer the question, like, hey, look, this is how I do it. How do you guys handle this stuff? What do I need to do? And the state was always there. All the workers, I've never had a bad call to a worker for the state of Tennessee. I got a feeling that's changed very recently. And I got a feeling that it's this culture of corruption, that these bad seeds here, they've gotten, this is the Nashville power structure, okay? And they're eaten up with this stuff. Nashville has always been this way. I'm from Memphis, and Memphis always mocked Nashville. And I'm mocking today. I'd rather live in Memphis than Nashville. Memphis is just normal stuff. People are just normal, okay? But like Nashville, it's like everything is like, I don't know, it's like a special little pat on their back parade. And it's sickening to see how it's had this influx of people lately. They've completely turned their back on. I'm not the biggest fan of regentrification. I am to a point, but it's gotten to a point now where they go into these places and they're not rebuilding neighborhoods, not rebuilding like old buildings and stuff like that. I love that part. No, they're just going in, they're bulldozing everything and building like little pop-up McMansion communities. And you're like, what is this crap? So anyway, yeah, this is just more of it. And I'll keep on doing these type of articles because it's just fun. So I hope you guys enjoy this. You can hear my voice. I'm very passionate about it. I know this stuff inside and out. And I just really hope you guys like it. I hope some of you can enjoy as much as I do. So until next time, guys, remember, cover your six, and hey, stay frosty, all right?